Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zain, and I'm coming on to bring a love reading for you all. If you find this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And also, if you want a personal reading from me, you can always email me. You can check the description box below for my email. I do have the $55 special going on right now for 30 minutes over the phone with me, where you can ask as many questions as you need, okay? This message, I feel like I want to cater it specifically towards the twin flame unions. Now, before we get off into that, I do want to make that offer for those of you who want to order my ancestor money. I've created this ancestor money for the indigenous melanated beings here in America so that you can have leaders that you can reference when you are doing your rituals and sending currency over to your ancestors and using this to clear out financial blockages for yourself. So I have Malcolm X here. I also have Madam C.J. Walker, okay? And then I have Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And where's my other one? My Martin Luther King. Hold on, y'all. And also Martin Luther King, okay? So these are very beautiful notes, very powerful currency. I use my own supply all the time. Get yours, $18.88 per pack. Each package contains 88 notes, okay? So let's jump into it. I want to do a twin flame reading, largely because I get a lot of questions concerning twin flame unions when I do personal readings. Now, I personally, there's a separation for me between twin flame unions and divine unions, okay? Twin flame unions are very, very spicy, okay? They're very hot energy, but they can be very heated, very passionate, and it can damn near look like a very karmic connection as well. It's called twin flame for a reason, because it's going to light your ass on fire, okay? They are not easy relationships to navigate. Now, can a twin flame union become a divine union? Absolutely. If both people rise into their divinity and do the work, their own internal work, then they can come together and it can become a divine masculine, divine feminine union. But not after you, you're going to go through some things. You're going to go through some things. You just can't avoid that in a twin flame union. So I do want to tap in and see what you all need to know concerning your twin flame connection. For those of you who believe that you have come into a union or a brief encounter, whatever the case may be, let's just see what you need to know about your twin flame connection. So this says, I knew you were my soulmate when I looked into your eyes. The feeling was all too familiar. So very strong connection, very strong pull towards one another. When you met, regardless of how long ago it was or how recent, very familiar energy where it's like you was able to identify one another. And it could be that maybe one person was more consciously aware of that than the other, or it could be that both of you mutually recognized that there was just a strong connection. The moment that you locked eyes, it was like you couldn't take your eyes off of that person, or this just pulled you in, okay? Just pulled you in. Now, let's see. So it says, wow, let me back up, y'all. These are the cards that I created. This is called I've Got to Testify Oracle. If you enjoy these cards and the images resonates with you, you can most definitely order these from me as well. Just email me. That's how I conduct all of my business as of now, okay? So my spiritual team is exposing everything in the cards. This must be a part of my purpose. So it could very well be that the masculine is starting to do readings, or he might be more curious about what's going on energetically between yourself and him. Or this could be vice versa, where the feminine is doing it, but definitely feels like a masculine energy is starting to tap in and to gauge more clarity about this relationship and why you happen to cross paths and what this means for him. So he's definitely, it feels like the masculine here is very spiritual, very spiritually in tune. And he's seeking more knowledge about your union. So let's just see what else we need to know. So this says, I'm sorry I allowed my fears and family to push me away from our love. I can't deny it anymore. We are meant to be together. So like I said, twin flame unions are never easy. There's always some form of interference. Whether it's people, whether it's belief systems, whether it's distance, there's always something that interferes with this connection. And there is some remorse that someone is feeling for allowing these third party factors to interfere with the relationship. And they don't want to deny this relationship anymore. They don't want to push you away. They want to be together. So very strong connection here is what I'm picking up. Let me see. So this says, well, I hope tonight goes as planned. It's been a long time since I've gone on a real date. This should be interesting. So it could be that the two of you may start spending more time together, okay? I feel like there was definitely a separation in this connection. And you may be getting ready to go out, to sit down, to talk, to, rekindle the connection, reignite the flame. Twin flame, right? So reignite that flame. So something about the spark had died down due to external factors. But the love and the knowing, the connection never died. But the oneness of it, okay, maybe the emotional openness, that was starting to become a little bit cold. I heard ice cold. Somebody was ice cold in this thing, okay? So maybe you felt like you had to go cold on this person or vice versa because you wasn't sure where this was headed. Let's see. Wow, okay. So this says, finally I get to spend my life with my divine masculine. They can't stop us now. This is like, y'all about to hit the ground running is what I'm picking up. If this is not your current energy, then this is where things are headed for those of you who are truly in a twin flame union. And it's like, finally, it's like this, finally, you could just relax. Finally, you don't have to defend your position. Finally, you don't have to think or wonder or second guess the connection. I could definitely see where things are getting ready to progress now. Something has changed, and I feel like it's because mutually both of you have come to the realization that this is bigger than just some mere connection. It's bigger than that. Like, it's spiritual. I feel like that's when you're coming to this the conclusion that it is spiritual. And you might have had a lot of outsiders. Maybe your person's family was in their ear, friends, exes, or maybe that was the case for you. But there's definitely something here where other people was really weighing this relationship down. It was like a bunch, it was like anchors, like a ball and chain. You see what I'm saying? And it was just too much interference. So let me just see. In what ways did the family or friends, in what ways, how did they enhance or encourage these fears of this union is what I want to know. So this says, I couldn't control my anger. I punched holes in walls to avoid taking it out on my partner. I was never taught how to properly heal my emotions. Wow. So there was a lot going on here. Okay. There was a lot going on here. We're talking about rage, anger. That's why I'm saying this, either this was past energy prior to, like, past relationships that somebody was in this type of energy, or this was the energy between you and your person. I don't know if it got this bad, but it could be that family was telling you, like, look, no, that person, they're unhinged. They don't have any emotional control. And of course, if they did not, then that would not be the right time for y'all to be together. That just would not be the right season during this period of this person's solar plexus being that off balance to where their aggressiveness is not under control, right? So punching holes in walls is never acceptable. But I'm saying the family's influence, I feel like somebody was at a tug of war in their spirit because they had family and friends in their ear on this end telling them, don't deal with you, you could do better, or you should go be with so-and-so, or whatever they were saying, right? Then on the other side, this person was being pulled towards you in a way where it's like they didn't want to see you with anybody else. They couldn't see themselves being with anybody else. it was just very difficult for them to navigate. So there could have been a lot of anger that was building up in this person. But I can definitely see where a spiritual awakening has happened that has caused this person to go within, do some inner work, and to heal. I'm also picking up that the divine masculine has very strong spiritual gifts as well. I feel like that's the same for the feminine here. Well, we're still talking about twin flame unions, but I feel like this is evolving into a divine masculine and feminine union based on the healing that's taking place in this connection. So I could see where the masculine specifically, their gifts are starting to become awakened, like they're more tapped in, and they're not afraid to dive deeper into that, right? To explore those gifts and to listen to that higher level of understanding to navigate through this relationship. Now, here's yet another card that says, I'm willing to fight for what I love. I will not back down to the opposition. So there was a lot of opposition that was interfering in this relationship. In some cases, it was to the point where exes didn't want to release, right? Or I don't know. It's something about a third person where there's opposition. Like, no, I want that person. No, you can't have them. That's my person. Something like that. Now, it could have been, some sort of tug of war for this person's energy or for your energy. But I can see where, see at the bottom of the deck, I told you. It says she thinks she's protected. Just wait until I finish with her. He will never look at her again. This could be both the male ex or a female ex. Just take it how it resonates in your situation, but it's definitely giving evil eye, spell work, okay? Trying to do particular things to ensure that your person would never even look in your direction. Somebody, I feel like whoever this person is, they know that without their spell work, this person is going to come towards you because it's a divine union, okay? They know this. They know that y'all are soulmates. So they have to do spell work. They have to send the evil eye. They have to do different things to keep your person from coming towards you. They want to keep the attention and the focus on them. So competitive energy that does not want to see y'all together. That's a large part of the interference as well. See, look. It says, stop trying to use emotional manipulation to keep me here. Your tears have never brought change, and I will not allow them to rule my decision to leave. So I feel like a masculine is definitely standing their ground against a karmic woman that they have dealt with, okay? And this person has emotionally manipulated them through crocodile tears. Every time they got ready, they started to awaken and to see that this person was toxic. It's like they would pull them back in by, crying wolf and acting like they were so emotional and so apologetic. Very emotionally codependent on this person is what I'm picking up. And I feel like in this energy, this karmic ex or this person who has been in your person's life, their spell work or whatever they have going on is starting to wear off. Okay? And they use very drastic and desperate measures to hold on to your person. Look at this. I'm telling you, bottom of the deck, like they could be playing like they're sick. This says this karmic relationship had me so stressed out that it physically took a toll on my body, but I just couldn't let go. Like it was mental, emotional, physical tolls that these karmic situations was having on yourself or your person, okay? And a lot of it also had to do with spell work again. So it's like any tactic that this person could use in order to keep your person in their life, they were willing to do it, okay? They was willing to do it. So now, what has awakened you or your person here? What has triggered the awakening? This says, why can't you just leave me alone? I'm not attracted to you anymore, and I love myself too much to let you into my temple again. You or your person started to lose attraction to the karmics, okay? You didn't want them touching you, you didn't want them looking at you, you didn't even want them in your energy, not in your environment. Don't knock on my door. It's that type of energy. It's like, what if they was doing, let's just say they was doing sex magic or some sort of spell work in order to, like a love step, a spell to keep you just kind of hypnotized by them and not wanting to deal with anybody else or your person, right? It began to wear off and you started to see something in them. I feel like you started to see something beyond the illusion that they was creating through their hypnotic spell work, right? This could be your person, though. I feel like in a lot of cases, this is not you directly. This is your person, but it could be flipped. It just depends. You got to take it how it resonates with your circumstance, and also keep in mind that this message will not resonate with everyone. But there's a lack of attraction here. And it's like, what do you call it? A distaste, like, ugh, you was picking up on something. And also many of you begin to ground yourself more. Getting grounded is a very powerful way of clearing out toxic energy and spell work and negative thinking and fears and insecurities. Like, literally, that charge, that surge of energy that you receive from the earth is going to realign your energy. It's going to get you back into a state of homeostasis. Like, everything is going to be balanced again the more that you get connected to nature. And so I feel like this is another way that many of you was able to remove the smoke screens, was by getting back connected to nature. So it could also suggest that when you or your person was in this toxic union with the karmic, it could also suggest that you weren't as connected to nature. Like, maybe you fell off. Maybe you started to slack when it came to getting out, sun gazing, planting your feet in the grass, hugging your trees, doing whatever it is that you do in order to keep your energy aligned and to stay grounded with nature. Something was missing. You had lost that enthusiasm. And it could be because you was overly consumed with dealing with this person and their emotional codependency on your energy. I feel like it's something about this past person that it caused you to be someone, it took you further and further away from your authentic nature. You see what I'm saying? And so you began to get grounded again. So this says, staying grounded is truly helping me to maintain my peace. So see, this is what caused the spell to be broken. You received your internal peace back. You started to find comfort and fulfillment in just being silent, going off on your own and connecting with nature. That was fulfilling enough. It actually made you feel very whole. And I feel like the nature was healing you, of course. And so the more that you went around this person, or the more that your person went around that karmic ex, the more they started to see them for who they were. And it just didn't feel right. Like, you're comparing that peaceful feeling that you felt when you was out in nature, connecting, grounding, and then coming back home to the energy that's just so thick that you can cut it like a knife. Somebody that's very bitter, that's not connected, they're not grounded, they're not spiritual. You started to have something to compare the frequency to. And you started to realize, like, shoot, if all it takes is for me to have nature and I can feel this damn good, then what the hell are you doing with somebody who is bringing the opposite effect? And it's like it's a stark difference in energy. So that's what caused the awakening to happen, was getting grounded, getting connected, and focusing back in on healing yourself on a holistic level is what caused that spell work to wear off here. So this says, I feel the magic in connecting with nature. My spiritual gifts are activated. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what I was saying. Somebody, whether you got into some water, whether you was sitting out in the grass, I feel like both the masculine and the feminine, both of you were doing very similar things, okay, to get your energy into alignment. And it was causing you to pull further and further away from the unhealthy relationships. Now, I will say that if there's no other people, let's just say that the karmic relationship is between you and your twin flame. Like there's no ex that was doing all of this. This is between you and this person, which I feel like that's not the case for most, but it could be the case for some. Then consider that when the both of you was getting out and getting grounded and connecting with nature and focusing in on healing yourself, whatever spell work that, maybe evil eye, that false friends, family members that didn't really want to see y'all together was sending, that began to wear off and you started to see one another through a different lens. Whereas before, maybe you was at each other's throat. Maybe it was just very toxic and just, draining, emotionally draining, right? But I can see where, if we go back to the original scenario, both of you have been putting in the work, connecting with nature, and it is activating the gifts. That's why I was saying this masculine, it feels like he's getting more in tune with his spiritual gifts, because that's exactly what this card says, okay? My spiritual gifts are activated. So their spiritual eyes have opened where now they're able to see things. They're not looking through their natural eyes anymore. So everything is starting to make sense, and they begin to question everybody, including their own decisions too, when it comes to you, okay? So this says, I lie awake every night wishing you were here with me. I wonder if you feel the same way or even think of me sometimes. So I feel like you started to withdraw your energy from that past person, or your person started to withdraw their energy, and that silence, the only thing that they could think about was you. The only thing you could think about was them, and the only thing they could think about was you. And so it's like you started to feel each other's energy again. And there was this desire to want to be in one another's presence again. So look at this. What the heck, okay? It says, I'm sitting here listening to Luther Vandross. This house is not a home. I'm ready to have true love in my life now. This bachelor life is dead. I'm telling you. Y'all started to go into hermit mode and to isolate yourself, and you started to realize, like, damn, you started to miss your person. Even if you thought, and maybe, of course, that bachelor life or being single was necessary for it, especially if you just came out of a karmic situation and it was toxic like that, where this person was emotionally codependent, manipulative, doing spell work and all types of stuff. You definitely have to regenerate your energy before you jump into something else. But I could see where enough time had passed, because this masculine has a bunch of candles on the table. So I feel like the masculine here began to do a lot of spiritual work on himself in his solitude. And doing the spiritual work made him realize the value in having healthy connections around, specifically with you. So this masculine became tired of being single. And I think that's what pushed him into looking into readings, just to see the frequency of your energy together, because this would give him the clarity that he needs as to whether or not it's time to make a move, especially if you haven't spoken to each other in a while. So let me see. Is there anything else you need to know before I close out? And if you find this resonates, please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Let me know. Show some love. That helps to return the energy, okay? So this says here, I was hurt by you, and then I don't want to be alone. See, I'm telling you, I was hurt by you and I don't want to be alone. So one of you is like, you hurt me. The other one is like, I don't want to be alone. You're missing one another, but there's still some residual energy, or maybe some things that needs to be talked out. Some things that needs to be laid on the table. Like, you hurt me when you went ghost, or you hurt me when you started to detach emotionally and started acting like you didn't care, or you hurt me when you decided to go back to the karmic ex. Whatever the case may be, there's going to need to be some communication. But I can also see where it's like someone feels a void, or they feel they don't. Let's just say this, because of course when you heal, no one else should be a space filler, right? So I'm not going to say somebody feels a void, but this person just does not want to be alone at this point. You saw what it said about the listening to Luther Vandross. Okay, like, this house is not a home. Bachelor's life is dead. They're ready to have a partnership now. I feel like they've come to the conclusion that there's just nothing else out there. No one else out there that compares to the connection they have with you. See, this says, I long for your kiss. So they've been missing you. They want to feel your touch. They want to kiss you. They want to embrace you. Look, this says, I'm obsessed with you. They've been thinking about you so much. I don't know now. Y'all might want to I mean, unless you want to get pregnant. I don't know. You know, some of y'all like, hell no, ain't about to be no pregnancy over here. Who? This says, I'm stuck in visions of us together. Okay, I'm stuck in visions of us. So there's been a lot of like obsessive thinking, replaying past situations, that kiss that y'all might have shared together, that hug, or that laughter, or those conversations, or it's just a lot of memories. Like this person has been submerging themselves in visions and memories of the two of you, and that's been another way of calling your energy back in. So if you've been feeling this person, thinking about this person, and it's like a pull, it's because that person has been just as much in their thoughts about you. So last card, it says, I regret what I did to you. So somebody wants to apologize. Okay, there is remorse that they have for what they did, whatever the scenario was that caused the two of you to separate. There's some regrets there, and they want to make it up. So that's what I have for you all. Like, subscribe. I'll talk to y'all next time.